once you know how much money you need, then you can get to the business of saving that money or where you can get that money.
All right, I'm going to jump in here for a quick second because we had a little breakage on one of our cameras here going live. But to paraphrase what Robin said was, she got into the business really because of what happened to her, right? And it was an educational thing,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it was, this is something that we're not taught. Well, I wasn't taught by my parents, and good chances a lot of folks weren't taught by their parents because they really didn't know.
Right.
That okay, hey, my parents always, my parents, I'm from West Indian descent, and you always got to take care of your credit, your name, your word, back when I was in school in high school, everybody used to say word is bond, right?
Right.
But that was a statement of saying, hey, you know what you say, your truth, or be truthful to yourself, or be what you commit to. That's what should happen.
Right.
But really, that's the same thing that's going on with your credit. Your credit speaks for you. All right, your credit speaks for, or it tells a story. Let's put it that way. It may not tell the story of who you are and the troubles you've been through, all right, and how you overcome. But really, it tells a story to folks that want to lend you money, all right, of your credit worthiness, all right, and a lot of that comes down to education, because there's a lot of pieces that come into how that credit score is calculated, what you see on Credit Karma and the those sites versus the algorithm that's used by the lenders,
right?
To offer, to give you a $200,000 home. All right. So go back.
And Credit Karma is helpful for those. That's one of the initial questions that I ask is, are you doing any type of credit monitoring? Because those are soft pulls that are going to give you an idea of where you're at. So you, by all means, look at the ones through your bank, through Credit Karma, through all of those. Keep track of your credit and know what your approximate score is, but that's what it is, an approximation, and recognize that. If you are below 600, then at that point you should be requesting a copy of your credit report or calling me or something, a lender you trust, preferably me. Hi, how you doing? Give me a call.
Yeah.
And yeah. I will pull it and walk through it with you. We do have tools, credit analyzers that can go through, and sometimes it's simple things. It may be an old debt that's still reporting. People just say, oh, I'm working on my credit and I'm going to pay things off. But if you're randomly, arbitrarily paying things off, it could be something that you don't need to pay off. An old debt that you pay off that's no longer reporting against your credit can actually hurt you if you pay that off. So these are the things. These are why you want to talk to a professional lender and really look at your individual situation. A friend or a neighbor, someone that is giving you advice that is not a professional, their situation is not going to be your exact situation. So you really should sit down with a professional, have a conversation, and map out a plan of success to home ownership, and just get on the right track for it. So.
Yeah, what surprises me is, I don't think a lot of folks know about the five various areas that impact your credit, right? Whether it's the amount that you owe and the weight that carries, your new credit, your length of credit history, credit mix, and then your payment history, right? So all those are in the mix, and they're not weighted equally. All right. So utilization is important.
That's very important.
Because it basically what it says is of your lines of credit, what percentage, and it's actually at the individual card level, individual credit level, what percentage of your utilization is there. While you could be 30% overall, but if you're 100% in one card,
right, that's
gonna weigh against you on how you manage your credit.
We'll go back in for those that don't know. You mentioned the 30%. So the key to having a credit card help you instead of hurt you is to keep your balance below 30% of the available balance on that particular card. Not your overall credit of all of your cards together, but on an individual card basis. So you never want to go over 30% of the available balance. And so you can get up there and then you pay it down and then you can go back up, and that will help you accelerate your credit score quickly. So you want to keep all of your credit cards in that same order. So that is something that will easily help you increase your credit score.
Okay. Your payment history is very important as well.
Very important. One late payment will drop your score multiple points, like drastically.
Yeah.
Drastically.
Yeah. So you want to maintain that. You want to keep your utilization right. You want, balance. You want to keep your payment history clean.
Yeah.
Right. So make sure you're making your payments on time. What I suggest is auto pay as much as possible.
Yeah.
Whether through your bank, what I do is I have everything go to a credit card and I pay that credit card off.
Yeah.
All right. I make sure that it has sufficient balance there that when those items hit, it's not taking me over my 30%.
Yeah.
All right. So that way, all my bills that can be paid by a credit card are always going to be current.
Yeah.
Whether I pay them today or pay them tomorrow, when it gets paid automatically, and then I make multiple payments to that card through the month, right, to keep that balance low. And sometimes I'm paying it before it even hits. Before it even hits, because you want to, you want to manage that piece. Length of credit. So don't go around. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to, when you pay off a card, keep it. Just, you can cut it up, but you ain't got to cancel it.
Don't cancel it.
All right, because they want the age of that credit history. It's under, I'm going to say it's under 4 years on average. That's I don't want to say it's bad, but it can impact. It can impact your credit. So let it stay up. Because I know I went through that same thing. I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting debt free. Cut.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Forget you, random credit card company. And that actually hurt me because now
Now you have no open lines of credit.
Right. I have no open lines of credit, but also, when I started adding credit cards to it, even though the balances are strong. They were young. They were,
It's new credit.
Yeah, it's new credit, 5 years old. Who wants 5-year-old credit? When you're 50 years old.
Well, and it makes you look more substantial.
Yeah.
If you have a credit card that you are not using, then it looks like you don't need it. You don't need it. If you have a credit card that's maxed out, then you look more financially vulnerable because you look more desperate for money if you've got a credit card that's maxed out as opposed to one that's sitting there unutilized. So it makes you, because that's the whole goal, is to look stable. Your goal is to look stable in all things you do.
Okay. All right. So, that's the piece that she can help you on with credit utilization, at least giving you some idea and put you in a simulator and tell you kind of how it's going to look, how your loan approval will look, or at least what you would have to do in order to get to that point, right? But just to recap, I've talked to you guys a couple times about the buying of a home, and self-centeredly, it all starts with me, all right? And actually, some other presentations I see it starts with her. But the thing is, between your first two steps, get with your realtor, get with a loan officer, all right? Because what I can do is I'm going to give you your guidance. I'm going to be the bus driver, all right? I'm going to be the tour guide. I'm Julie on the Love Boat, if you guys are old enough for that. All right, I'm going to tell you what's up. I'm going to tell you what's on the Lido deck. I'm going to tell you where the activities are.
The Lido deck.
Right, the Lido deck.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to give you the path to getting to a home. All right. And one of those stops, the next stop is going to be talking to Robin. Talking to a loan officer that's going to give you the what's what on the process. All right. Now, all loan officers aren't created equal. And quite honestly, all loan companies aren't created equal, because really what it comes down to in getting your loan done, it's the front end stuff and then it's the back end stuff.
Yeah, that's critical.
Their ability to process that loan, their ability to get that loan done in a very time sensitive fashion, and their ability to underwrite you up front.
Right.
So
and communicate.
And communicate, right. So to give you, you get underwritten up front before we find a home, then you're actually in a better position than maybe your competition, another buyer, right? Because now I can tell that homeowner, that home seller, that hey, my guy is underwritten already, all right. So we can close in as little as
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
21 days. And when you're selling a home, that is important. All right. I have a home seller now that we went through. We're going through one of these down payment assistance programs, and I mean I know a lot of folks say, "Oh, free money." Yeah, it ain't.
Free money is never free.
It ain't free.
You're gonna pay in some.
Yeah, you pay. I mean, as a seller.
Yeah.
I mean, while when you obviously you take a look at all the offers you get. All right. I'll take conventional over FHA. I'll take FHA over any down payment assistance program any day.
Right.
All right. So if I have somebody that has, and what I mean by down payment assistance, I'm talking about the Georgia Dreams.
Yeah.
Those programs are great for when you don't have, for cash, you don't have those funds.
Right.
But quite honestly, and they serve a need. So I'm not downing on them. I'm just saying that, you got to play the hand you're dealt. All right. When you do have those, it takes longer. It is 60 days. I'm finding out there is no middle ground on that. It is 60 days. We coming up on day 60 on this deal. And my seller is looking at me like, yo,
that's because they're usually double underwritten.
Right,
and
that's exactly what it is.
For a brief explanation of the reason that it's conventional FHA down payment assistance in that sliding order from a seller's perspective. Conventional loans are considered the best loans because you are required to have less debt, and the credit score has to be higher. So that's the one.
So that means that buyer has a better credit score, and that buyer does not have their financial situation is better.
Is better, right? So then you go to FHA, and then the credit score is going to be a little bit lower, but they're still within the guidelines. They're making a slightly higher down payment than on conventional. So you're still good there. Now you go down to a down payment assistance. That means that person came to the table with no cash. So from a seller's perspective, if they have an option, they're obviously going to pick the one that appears to have their act more so together. So that is why they're leaning that way.
Right. And I mean, and quite honestly, it's not saying that the down payment assistance situation is bad.
Right.
Right. It just takes longer to close.
Yeah.
All right. And we are in a society where there's value placed on having your money in your hands sooner rather than later.
Right.
Time value of money. That's finance 101. I can't give you the formulas anymore on net present value of money, but the concept is still there, right? That's at Howard University education. I'm just spitting that out.
Oh my God.
What's going on, Anthony Driggers, Dion, and Joseph?
What's up, Dion?
Yes, it is. Hey. So, where was I? Okay, we're talking about the
bragging about Howard.
I did slide in a little HU in there.
Yes.
Let me get somebody type in HU. Let me see something like that. Anyway, okay. All right. But all right, going back to the numbers though. I say that conventional. The FHA, and we could slide VA in that mix.
Hey, I love a VA.
I love a VA.
Love a VA.
I mean, that's a great program. If thanks for your service.
Yes.
That's a great program for my military brothers and sisters to leverage your VA. And one thing about a VA, really, it's reusable.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I know one person. I have one client that they have a VA and they're like, okay, they don't necessarily want to.
CAU.
See, I'm sorry. Someone was writing something foreign on my feed here. CAU. I CAU too. I don't get it.
See.
All right.
Sorry.
Sorry. There was a little HBCU love going back and forth here. All right. But like on a VA loan, it's reusable, so you can use it once on your first house, and then you can refinance it off, can't you?
You can refinance it. You can refinance to another VA loan.
Right.
You can reuse it again. You can, and there's another it's a zero down payment loan. Another zero down payment loan that people sleep on is the USDA loan. Those are wonderful. These are really designed for the outskirts. It's supposed to be in the sticks, but Atlanta is spreading. So places where people are living. There's Dallas. There's
Locust Grove. Villa Rica.
Yes.
I'm going to say just outside of Kennesaw.
Cartersville. These are all locations that have USDA homes. They are zero down payment loans. Your credit score has to be tighter. It needs to be a 660. But if you've got a 660 credit score and your debt has to be on the lower side, your debt ratio is more qualifying in the conventional range of 40%, 41%. If you've got those things going for you, a USDA loan is super sweet. It's a beautiful loan. So that's another one to consider.
Yeah. Now, so I mean, what I like for you guys to do, if you're thinking about buying a home, obviously you're thinking about buying a home, obviously reach out to me. All right, 678-948-5502, and then I'll get you in touch with Robin. Robin, you can give your number as well.
My cell is 678-994-2031. I'm open to any questions. If you want to know about where you are, get on a track to get your credit, find out if something's affecting you, talk about how student loans may affect you. That's another thing that people want to know about is how to deal with the student loans.
Mm-hmm.
What you need, that's a big one actually. So any of that.
Yeah, no, that definitely student loans is quite honestly it's a hurdle that I'm coming up against
a lot
now. Where it's the size of the loan.
Yeah.
And the income you make. Sometimes you might need to get on a modification or income based payment plan. But you still need to be your credit still needs to be higher so you can go conventional.
Yeah.
All right. So it's not impossible, but I mean it's one of those things that you got to take care. You need to know you got to take care of your credit.
Yeah.
All right, and you got to develop that path to get there. I see Patricia Hall Bowman is watching. Patricia's a real estate agent that I'm trying to work with.
Hi, Patricia. I'm trying to work with Patricia too.
Okay. Robin has an issue when realtors come into play. When I mention realtors, she gets all nice.
I'm always nice.
Yeah, she gets all flirty with realtors.
I'm always nice.
Hey, realtor. Hey, I want to work with you.
I do.
Yeah, so
I do.
I let her carry on,
Dion, tell Patricia. Tell Patricia I'm nice.
Yeah.
Tell her. Let her know. I'm good.
All right. So, again, starting off with meet the real estate professional, get pre-approved, and making sure you take care of those hurdles.
Yes.
For search for the home, all right, and here goes Patricia say hello. Look at that. Yeah,
Hi,
searching for the home. You can find Patricia on my page. You can sort through her and you can find her contact info.
678-994-2031. It's my cell.
I'm just going to drop that in there. All right. So you searching for the home process, and what I do is if I have a tool which basically a website. If you go to my website jamespetersjr.com, it allows you to jump in. Hey, this is going to be the Robin Harris show. Robin Hutcherson show.
Well, you've got to guess.
Yeah, I do.
I'm
so happy.
It's been all all the time.
I'm so happy you can join me.
Thank you.
I've invited her on 3 different occasions, mind you.
5 minutes before he's about to do the podcast, he's invited me.
3 different invites.
5 minutes before the podcast.
All right. So let's get back to searching for homes. Right?
Okay.
All right. But and quite honestly, what I find in a good realtor-lender relationship, what happens is when you search for homes, you get the opportunity to go back because you'll get a pre-approval, but sometimes it's not conditional, but you're looking at the criteria for that person, right? That okay, hey, if they may be able to afford a single-family home at $240, but in a townhome at $240 with the HOA, you may not.
Oh, she said you're
Yes,
you're
I saw
awesome
that.
too.
Yeah, I got to stop reading. You may not qualify, or it may stretch you financially because of that HOA.
Now you're out of zone for your debt to income ratio.
Right. So I mean, but you got to have a real good realtor is going to have that communication back with the lender, or going to tell your client to go, hey, go talk to Robin, make sure that we're fine. The other thing we look at is where the home is, because the taxes and the and the insurance could impact how much home you could afford. All right. So we're always thinking about those things when we're going out. We're always looking out at kind of what's the ideal situation for the client. How do I want to customize that offer? Does my client have a significant savings? All right, that is going to allow them to pay both the down payment as well as the closing costs. All right. As I craft the offer, Robin will probably let me know, hey, you know what? They have plenty of money for down payment. They're fine there. But quite honestly, they may be a little short on closing costs. All right. So that's something that I'll factor into the offer so to make sure that we can get the deal. All right. Or actually to make sure they can afford the deal. Now, getting the deal is two different things, because I'm going to tell you a lot of it depends on the seller side, whether or not they can actually afford to pay closing costs. Right. Are they getting enough proceeds from the sale that they can afford to pay closing costs, or in comparison to the other offers they receive? All right. How is that? Price. Yeah. Well, I mean that's on the other side is if you take the price of a home up to bundle in closing costs, what's the impact to the appraisal? Will that house appraise? So those are all these moving pieces, right? That that makes the situation can make the situation difficult. So clients, you guys got to be patient, because quite honestly, the best situation is I have the money for the down payment, and I have the money for the closing costs. All right, because at least that way you have the option. Whether we ask for closing costs becomes an option, but at least becomes an option to save you money, as opposed to, hey, you can't move forward without it.
Right. And just real quickly, sources for that money can be savings, it can be 401k, it can be investments, it can be a gift from a family member.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. All right, is there any limitations on the amount that can be a gift?
No.
No? Say that. You want to say that again? No limitations?
No.
You got that rich uncle, not named James Peters?
Yeah. Or Uncle James Peters.
No, Uncle James Peters I ain't got you. I ain't got you on that. I ain't got you on the. Actually, I did give a gift one time.
I tried.
I did give a gift one time. So I help family members out to an extent. Hey, Michelle. Went to high school with Michelle. Michelle OG at the CDC. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I was supposed not to say that. Amy, how you doing? Remember Amy? One of my clients, or maybe you weren't the lender. Never mind. Hey.
He's always cheating on me with different lenders.
Anyway, Amy's in Florida right now.
Hey, Amy.
And Jimmy is actually Jason. He's
Jimmy's juke joint.
Yeah, he's my cousin out in North Carolina. All right, big supporter of the show. All right, where was I?
You were talking about money that you
won't
sources. Share.
Oh, money sources. That's what I was talking about. Money sources. So the gift. So that's definitely eligible. Your 401k. All right.
And people sometimes I hear, well, I don't want to borrow against my 401k. I don't want to take money out of my 401k. But think about what your 401k is. Your 401k is an investment in your future, and isn't your house the exact same thing? So it's really just moving it from one bucket where you're investing in yourself to another bucket where you're investing in yourself. And actually your house is to me, a safer bet. Houses are going to appreciate. You're going to get that money back. So it's still a wise investment that you're making if you borrow against it for that purpose. I wouldn't say do it to go on a cruise or to buy a new car.
No.
But if you are buying a home, it's still a wise investment.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, your 401k mainly is invested in stocks and bonds, right? Yeah. So it's like one investment source. All you're doing is adding real estate to your portfolio.
There you go.
All right. And real estate, like she mentioned, they're not building any more land. Period. All right. They're not building any more land. So real estate is one of those things where it's an investment based off scarcity, right? For scarcer, the more developed the area, obviously the condition of the area, location, but you find a good piece of real estate, you get it at market value, it goes up over time. Mm-hmm. Now it goes down, but generally it goes up. Over time. So don't get into real estate. If you're buying for a longer term horizon, i.e., I'm buying my personal home, I plan on staying there 5 to 10 years. All right, that's the right reason to buy real estate. Right, and where you can move your money from your 401k into that investment because it's equally as stable, actually more stable than the stock market. Right. The stock market fluctuates on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. All right, I bought in Atlanta real estate in 2016. I bought a townhome in the Vinings area. Vinings is a very nice area. All right, and the reason why I bought over there because even though the prices were higher, my belief was that that side of town is going to take, if a recession happened and the market dropped, that side of town is going to be less impacted than other sides of Atlanta.
True.
All right. 3 years later, let's fast forward I guess it's almost 4 years later. Coming March, it'll be 4 years. All right. The latest home sold in my subdivision, my little community, is at $260 now. All right. So that took it from, that's basically almost a $45,000 improvement on price, and that's just the appreciation of my investment, right? So when you think about it, I took about $8,000. I invested $8,000 into the house. All right. On that $8,000, now we've made $45,000. All right. Portion of that $8,000 was actually down payment and not the closing costs. So really, it's now I owe less than $190 on the house. All right, so $190 minus $260, that's $70,000. Right. I mean, those are real numbers. I mean, that's $70,000 in 3 years. Part of it was me making my payments, so it was equity.
Right.
All right, paying that off. Right. But the rest of it is the appreciation. Don't mean I can give out no loans. I'm just gonna tell you that because it's money. The money's in my house. All right. But when I sell that house, when I'm ready to sell that house, I can get to assuming that the market is right, I'll get to be able to remove that equity.
Right.
And then I can do the whole thing over again.
Right.
All right. I could put $10,000, my original $10,000, back into a new property. All right. Put the, what I'll probably net 60. Actually, since I'm an agent, I'll get the commission. But, I'll net 60.
Right.
About that 60 goes into my bank account. All right. And that becomes, before anybody gets to the good morning Texas, I'm joking. When I wake up in the morning and, you check I check my financial status when I wake up in the morning. I look at mint.com. That's a good tool for you guys to have.
That's an excellent tool.
All right. I look at mint.com and I look at my net worth. All right. And, I look at that and I'm up, I'm like, ooh, who's that cutie up there looking like $70,000? And it ain't looking like a bag of money. Hey, Chase. So, but the idea is it's a process that's recyclable. Jumping into real estate, it is, I know everybody who jumps in and thinks, I have a lot of clients that buy that first home and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to live in here forever.
Right.
The reality is you're probably not. All right. The average person lives in a home about 7 years. All right. And the situation changes. Your kids that were 14, now he's 21, he's at school. All right. So when he's at school, you're looking at your house like, yo, okay, what do I need all these rooms for? If you got more than one kid, then you're like, okay, you got junior. Other one is 15, 16. He's going to work and he ain't paying you no mind.
Unless you have the kids that go local to, say, Georgia State, and then they're still in your house.
Yeah, but even situation, sometimes it might be time for you to downsize to create less of an opportunity for them to come back. All right?
I'm moving. I don't know where you're going.
Where you going? How you like that dorm? How that dorm food tastes? All right. Yeah, I'm going down to a 2-2. All right, so,
Or if you're, now that speaks to, because like you, so I've been in my house for 15 years. So I'm one that's, I've stayed in my house. So I've survived the crash of 2008.
Yeah, 2000. Well, when did you move in?
Right before that.
2000?
No. Let's see. My son was born in 2003. So 2004?
You said you have a son that was born in 2003?
Yeah. I'm young. That's right. So I have a son. Very young. Okay. And I have a son that was born in 2003.
2003.
And so
1903?
we're gonna pause for the paramedics.
Okay, back on track.
Anyways.
All right, I'm sorry, guys.
So in 2008, the market crashed, and I bought my house for $189,900, which was a steal at the time. They had already bought another home. In 2008, houses in my subdivision, 2009 and 10, like they had gone down. They were selling for like 110, and I was like, oh my God, I bought at the wrong time. Exactly. And I was like, what am I going to do? But now things have come. What goes down, what comes back up. So, you see,
Team, you wrong, James.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Juke Joint.
Team, you wrong, James.
Yes. I like these viewers.
I'm going to have to uninvite some people to my thing.
No, you guys all are right. Thank you. He's the worst.
Anyway, well, the story she's saying, hey, she bought it $197 and went down to $101.
I bought it $189.
89, sorry.
And that included closing some closing cost. And now I'm about 260, 270, about 270. And I owe less than $100,000. So I have all of that equity because I've been there 15 years.
Right.
So in my situation, I'm not going to go, my mortgage payment is low enough and that house is almost done. Like, I wouldn't even sell it. I'll just go somewhere else and get another one because it doesn't even make sense at this point. If I ever get my kids to move, then I will just rent it out and just let it finish paying for itself because I'm at the point where it's going to quickly accelerate and pay itself off because I've passed that 15-year threshold where it starts to do that.
Yeah, so. And in her case, really, quite honestly, that she could pay that off. She could have that sitting really as almost like savings.
Yeah.
Right. So when the opportunity comes to her to get a new property, she doesn't necessarily have to use that, but again, you can invest that. You can rent it out. You can use it as a tool, or you can use one of your favorite realtors to help you cash out, and
yes, Dion.
Put a little money in your pocket.
Yes,
one of your favorite realtors that have turned you on to multiple other realtors and have allowed you to eat well in this business. I wonder who that is.
Thank you, James.
We're just gonna take a pause right here just to let that. Yeah.
Thank you, James.
There you go. But no, look, I like working with Robin. But I mean,
We work well
are two
together.
those are two personal situations where you can use real estate as an asset,
Yes.
and it becomes a tool for during this process. It's one reason why leveraging your 401k if you're a new buyer, you create opportunities for yourself by doing that.
Yes.
All right. The other thing is, I mean, in all this process, but eventually we'll get to the closing portion of this. You as a new buyer, you are going to feel uncomfortable. You are going to feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? All right, because this is the first time. If this is the first time you bought a home, this is the first time you've made that investment. I mean, that is a natural, that is a understandable feeling. Mm-hmm. All right. But keep in mind that many people have gone through this before you. All right. There are a lot of folks that own homes, so these feelings aren't new.
Right.
It's a new experience for you. All right. But I mean, I like to tell my clients that growth is on the other side of that uncomfortableness. All right. When you start off with a new process, you start off in a new job, you start off trying to do a new tactic, whether it's running, whether it's starting a business. Mm-hmm. All right. You're entering into the world of the unknown. Mm-hmm. All right. And you need to feel, you need to just take some stock into that this is a commonplace feeling. Am I get my words out? This is a commonplace feeling that you're gonna have, right? But embrace it, get used to it, because once you go through it, that's usually where the opportunity is. When I started my real estate business, when I started my window covering business, when I started new jobs, you walk in there feeling like, okay, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
I don't know how these people are going to take to me, and you really almost have to put your head down and be like, yo, okay, I'm not going to worry about it, right? I mean, I'm not the first one to start a new job. I'm not the first one to buy a house. I'm not the first one to buy that investment property.
Right.
All right. The fact is, I just want to make sure that I have someone to help me guide me through this process. All right. And that someone may not be your cousin that bought a house.
Please don't let
in 1903.
Right.
All right. That someone may it's probably not going to be that great grandma that there's someone that bought a house before. Because quite honestly, if you bought a house in '08, that the market is so much different today than it was back then.
Right.
All right. So that someone should be someone that that is in the market daily. All right. That has the experience day in, day out of purchasing homes, of selling homes, of positioning homes, for sale, and is comfortable with, and basically it has a network. Because part of it is the relationships you have with the other realtors that you develop with the other realtors, the relationships you have with other lenders, and making sure that you're positioned correctly. All right, so let me recap, because I know we just kind of ran over. And how much time do we have left? All right, wow. We got about 18 minutes left. Time flies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right. Start off with meeting a realtor, getting pre-approved. All right. We start that search for home. Go to jamespetersjr.com. Then you make an offer. We craft an offer. And Jason, we'll get back to your question about refinance in a second here. All right. Then you make an offer. So we'll craft that offer so it gets accepted. Right. Once we get past that process, right, what is obviously they say that the negotiating on the contract, but really you're just negotiating the terms, that go along with the contract. That ties in with making the offer. All right. Once you get to the portion where you're under contract, we go out and get an inspector to take a look at the home. All right. That inspector is going to have 7 to 10 days to look at that home, get back to you, so you can write a condition report, a condition amendment to the seller. All right. I'm right there right now with one of my clients. We have up until the 24th to get. I'm waiting on that condition amendment coming back from the buy side. All right. Once you look at as a listing agent in this case, I'm going to take that to my client. All right. We're going to look at those issues and we're going to say, okay, hey, are these acceptable? Right. And it shouldn't be changing the world. It should be
right.
the things that will help you get to the closing table and close that and close that deal.
I think that's what new buyers don't understand.
Right.
Is it's not gonna be you know what I
Right.
mean. You want the major things knocked out.
Yeah, you want the major things that are going to allow you to live in that house, right?
Yeah.
All right, but once you knock that down, the pieces that go on in the background, and I'll tell you how Robin is different than some of the other lenders, all right? Because now some lenders will start their appraisal, their underwriting process now, all right? Robin has the option to, and correct me if I'm wrong, to underwrite them up front.
Yes.
All right, which speeds this process all the way up. Now, dealing with other lenders, I mean, that's where I am. Where quite honestly, they and in this case, one case it was down payment assistance, so they got underwritten by the mortgage company. Now they have to get underwritten by Georgia Dream.
Right.
And that process drags out and feels uncomfortable along.
And if you miss something, if the underwriter on the mortgage side misses something, they kick it back, and you have to start all the way over.
Start from the beginning.
Yeah, well, you start from the beginning with Georgia Dream,
Lord
so you
Jesus.
lose your place. So they send it, they correct whatever they wanted, and then you got to go back.
Okay, yeah. Sorry if I visibly took a body punch here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you got to go all the way back. But that's why we like FHA, we like conventional, we like USDA, we like VA, more so than down payment assistance, right? Because now that client is underwritten, all right. Now on the backside, the lender is also going out and appraising the property, all right. And that appraisal, is not for you, Mr. Buyer. But the reality is you benefit from it.
Right.
All right. Because as a buyer, that appraisal comes in. If the house appraises, the house appraises, okay, fine, you're getting value for your money. You're not overpaying. All right. If the house does not appraise, then you get to go back to the seller and say, hey, the house didn't appraise. All right. So that $500 you spent will save you money in the long run. All right. If the house appraises for more, then you got instant equity. All right, so you're walking into closing. You got your George Jefferson stroll on because you just moved on up. All right, so y'all like that picture of George Jefferson little?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I don't know. Everybody's not old enough. Hey, Nyala, how you doing?
Like me.
Yeah. Yes, with your 2003 baby. All right, sorry. My kid was born in 97. I guess that wasn't that far off. That's 6 years, right?
That was a while before now.
That was a while before, yeah. I'm a little older.
Yeah.
I'm a little older. Notice
Clearly.
we'll growing the beard back in, guys. You guys let me know if I should keep the Santa Claus looking beard. It's struggle days right now.
Everybody needs Black Santa.
Everybody needs Black Santa, yeah. Okay, we're not going to touch on that topic. We're just going to keep on moving. So yeah, final details. House gets appraised. Then we get to closing.
Wait, can we just go back for just a second?
Go back. Yeah.
Another benefit about getting underwritten up front is if you wait to do your underwriting in the back end, you've already paid for these things. You've paid for the inspection. You've paid for the appraisal. If you fall out of underwriting, if you fall out of escrow for anything, if you can't come to an agreement, if the appraisal is under and they don't want to come off the price, anything, these are things that you've paid for, and your underwriting isn't done. More so, I guess it would be a problem with underwriting because things are found in underwriting that are not maybe part of the pre-approval process. So you get all of that out of the way before you pay this money for an inspection and an appraisal.
Yeah. Okay.
So it saves you money in that respect.
Yeah, it does, and I mean, and it improves your speed to market. Excuse me. It improves your speed to closing. Yeah. I had a situation, actually, she jumped on there a second ago. Well, quite honestly, my buyer came in from out of town. Oh, actually, my buyer got a new job here in Atlanta, and she had. I mean, it was only I think 17 days between the time she came down to buy the house and closing.
Yeah.
All right. My lender at that time, and at that time you didn't have this service,
Uh-huh.
but they took her through all the way through underwriting. All right, so when we found that house, we looked at 20 houses that weekend.
She's
All right?
ready.
We found that one. We put an offer in, and we were able to close in 17 days.
Yeah.
By the time she came down here to move into the house to start the job, we were locked
You're
and
ready.
loaded. She came down, closed on a Friday, moved in on a Monday, went to school, took a kid to school, took a kid to and carried herself to the job.
Yeah.
All right, so we were ready. All right. Now that situation, wouldn't have happened if we didn't get underwritten all the way through.
Right.
All right. So getting that done first, helps you with speed. All right. So we've already got the appraisal. Now we're at closing, and we go to closing. There will be pictures. Everybody smile.
All stuff.
Yeah, there will be pictures and crazy signs. But I mean, the whole idea is really, I love getting new families. I love getting people to that finish line. All right, because, it's a tough process. Well, it can be a roller coaster ride.
It's an emotional process.
Yeah, it's an emotional
sometimes.
process. Let's say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't, but it's at the end. The smiles, the joy that you see. When they've gotten
When they
that
get
home.
there. Yeah.
It definitely warms the hearts. The hearts, like I have multiple.
Yeah. Well, it's the hearts of everybody around.
The hearts
because
of everybody
it's rewarding.
around.
It's
Yeah.
rewarding for us as well.
Absolutely.
I talked to a guy today. I got a CTC for closing on Thursday. We had, without being underwritten up front, his contract came in on the 6th and we're closing on Thursday.
Wow.
Without an upfront underwriting, because he was also a very good participant. Anything that we asked for, he was very diligent and quick about returning, and that's important to the process as well. And we were able to get him done, and he's already talking about the fence in the backyard and the gym and all of that. And so it's wonderful to be a part of somebody's process of where they're going to be with their family and where he's going to raise his daughter, So yeah, it is hearts, because you become a part of the process, and it's a rewarding thing.
Absolutely. Hey, you guys, we're coming up to I guess 8 minutes left.
Okay, well, I want to go back. This is a great time to refinance for.
Oh, Jason, that was a joint. Yeah, Jason, yeah.
Jason, this is a great time to refinance because rates are really low right now. So I just did a refinance, rates 3.25. So if your rate is not in the 3s or at least the 4s, then you definitely want to talk to me.
He's in North Carolina. You licensed in North Carolina?
We are. So you can still talk to me,
Okay.
and we can close. So yes.
Good deal. Anybody have any questions out there? I know Jason had one. Got all these realtors on my feed. Nyala Allen, she's a great realtor out of the Tucker Keller Williams office.
Hey, how you doing?
Mr. Thomas, he's an average golfer out there in Houston. Hey man, you've been running for me for 2 years, man. You coming to the Jamaican golf trip, man? Yeah, it's my annual golf.
Oh, that
he's one of,
thing.
he's
Okay.
one of, yeah.
Roger that.
Roger that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's also military, so
Okay.
ex-military.
Stemper 5?
Yeah. No, not Marines. He was Army. But anyway.
Thank you for your service.
There you go. With these last couple minutes here, I just want to make sure that you guys take pencil to paper or pen to paper and get Robin's contact info. You realtors that looking for another loan officer, Robin, give your information again.
My cell phone number is 678-994-2031. 678-994-2031.
How do they follow you on Instagram? You got it.
Hutch, Hutch, Home Loans. Hutch Home Loans.
Hutch Home Loans. Follow her on Instagram. Call her up.
Yeah.
Myself, you can reach me at Peters Legacy Realty Group on Instagram. I know that's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I need to shorten that. Peters Legacy Realty Group on Instagram. Email email is my name, James Peters Jr. At kw.com. My website is James Peters Jr. Jump on there now. If you're in the market to look for a home, I have access to both FMLS and the Georgia MLS, both MLS systems operating here in the greater metropolitan area. So you can see what homes are available. All agents don't list in one or the other. Sometimes they list in just one rather than both. So make sure that you jump on there so you can see that information. Register. Tell me when you want to buy a home. It's going to ask you some profile information, but then I get to see kind of where you're looking, and then we can set up a time and go out and take a look and go find you that property.
Right.
My number is 678-948-5502. That's 678-948-5502. I almost forget it on the second time around.
I saw that. It's the beard.
It's the beard. The beard is sapping and is making me look older.
Gray.
Then feel old and messing with my recollection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
Ginkgo.
That's a stretch. All right. What do we got? We got 4 minutes left. This is where I go into my filler.
Oh.
No.
You want pop lock or something?
Yeah, no, we're not gonna pop lock. But hey, I mean, I know this has been a great. Last week was a great week of real estate for me. If you haven't seen on my Facebook feed or on my Instagram page, I'm now part of the Agent Leadership Council for this office. What does that mean? Well, that means I get to contribute to the direction of this office. I want to get to help other agents as they mature. So I'm really happy for that. I'm really happy to contribute and back to new agents. It feels like I'm an old agent, but quite honestly, in this game of real estate, it's funny. I learned something new with every transaction. Sometimes some lessons I wish I didn't learn, but you learn.
By fire?
Yeah, not so much trial by fire, but sometimes it is. Sometimes you do. There's danger around the corner, and your objective is not the problem. It's how you resolve it. Right. To me, that's what makes a great agent. That's most important.
Yeah, things are gonna happen.
Yeah, things happen. Things happen. And I'm trying to work on my communication. So clients out there, if I haven't been a great communicator, let me know. I'm growing in that regards, and I want to make sure that I handle each situation right. And because in this business, you deal with so many personalities. Yes. All right. Not everybody can deal with my half introvert, half extrovert tendencies. Sometimes I'm reclusive, sometimes I'm not. What's that? Okay.
What do you think about family LLC for real estate?
I like it. Okay. Let's talk about that offline, Jason.
And thank you, Dion.
Okay, great show. Yeah. Right. Let's talk about that offline. Because I think that's a great idea. Yeah. To help transfer wealth, but also help stack wealth in a different situation.
Right.
Try to keep you have one entity. To maybe either hold your real estate or to hold your investment property. Right. So that's definitely something that that might be a good plan. That's another realtor. See, I got. This is the real estate hour. I love it when all my realtors pop in on this. But the objective of this show, as we kind of outro, I'm trying to meet with everybody or keep this consistent at 6 to 7 on Mondays. There's times where I can't make it here, but be on the lookout for next week. I hope if my producer is on, if can get to it. We shot some footage at one of the new home subdivisions in the Dallas area. The objective was to help educate buyers on that process on buying a new home and for new construction.
Okay.
All right. And take them through, that particular model, but also take them through some of the things that happen.
It was a beautiful model.
Yeah, no, it is a beautiful
nice.
model. I have one client. I think I have one client. I think that closed in that type of home, and another one. One is closing next month, and hopefully may have a third one in that community soon.
Nice.
All right. But I think that's it. Terrence, thanks for jumping in. I'm sorry you're late. You can recap all this. I'm gonna probably do a couple watch parties to share this information with folks, and please give me some feedback. I guess we're going over. Yeah, please give me some feedback, and hopefully we continue to have good content, and I can bring on good guests. Like Robin. Robin's my first guest on this show.
Oh.
She's my first guest on the show. I had to ask her like
I'll
5
go down
times.
in history.
Yeah.
I'll go down in history. No.
Well, actually, she's my first guest to appear on the show. My first guest really was this morning when I taped my other show. So you number 2. You number 2.
No.
You number 2.
No, I'm still number 1. I'm still number 1.
All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys have back your day. Appreciate you jumping in.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, and the music.
I got a whole producer on that side.
Hey.
My man Raheem.
Well, that was cool.
And live. Okay. And bye-bye.